We're getting a little bit more on the jailbreak from the Constant Spring Police Station this morning shortly after 1, where 7 male prisoners are now on the run. We are learning that there were only 3 constables on duty with more than 50 prisoners in the lockups, and it is suspected that a breach of procedure took place at the lockup, which may have contributed to the jailbreak. We're learning that the cells were full and the escapees were in an overflow area. That's a term being used, an overflow area. So they weren't actually in cells. Yeah? And this may have contributed to the jailbreak. Over 50 of the prisoners were in the lockup at the time this morning when 7 were able to escape. I suppose we'll hear more of that from the authorities in the JCF. Now, it's now full speed ahead. 15 days to go now? To the general elections of September 3, with nomination day out of the way. The Director of Elections, Glasspool Brown, and his staff are now working overtime to make sure that everything is in place for election day. Yes? He says, that's Mr. Brown, that the EOJ is now focused on voting day for persons under the category called special services.
Well, the next step is that there are a number of things that we could not have done until the nomination period was completed, which was done today. We now move into the preparation of the ballots, the printing of the ballots, the final voters list, and what is known as the preparation of the black book. And also we'll be advancing our preparation for special voting day, which will be on the 29th of August, the Friday, the 29th of August. That is the day when the members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the Jamaica Defence Force, the election day workers, the group of persons that we call the one-day policemen, that group of persons will be allowed to cast their ballot on the 29th of August, a couple of days before the election day on the 3rd of September.
And that's Glasspool Brown, the Director of Elections. And there are about 50,000 such persons eligible to cast early ballots on the 29th of August. The EOJ's preparations will also include assigning symbols to the several independent candidates who have been nominated. They're also going to be focusing now on printing of ballots, distribution of supplies, and preparation of polling stations. According to the Director of Elections, the JLP and the PNP nominated candidates for all 63 constituencies, while the Jamaica Progressive Party, the JPP, nominated 47 candidates. 7 candidates were also nominated by the United Independence Congress, the UIC.
So we had a turnout in terms of nomination, person being nominated. The JLP and the PMP nominated a full slate of 63 candidates. The Jamaica Progressive Party nominated 47 candidates. The UIC, United Independence Congress, nominated 7, and there were 9 independent candidates.
9 independent candidates?
One independently in St. Thomas Eastern, St. James West Central, Hanover Western, Western Westmoreland, Western Central, Westmoreland Eastern, Westmoreland Central, St. Catherine Northeastern, and St. Andrew East Central, and St. Andrew Southwest. That's the 9 constituencies that they have 9 independent candidates.
Glasspool Brown, Director of Elections. There is still some uncertainty over how many candidates were actually nominated in Eastern Westmoreland. Yesterday afternoon, while Director Brown was speaking with us, he did say that they have not yet certified the names of all those nominated. That will be done and uploaded to the EOJ's website later this week. But we who are covering the politics, we are watching Eastern Westmoreland. Yeah? And there's some uncertainty as to how many people were nominated yesterday. For sure, we know the incumbent, Danny Lawrence of the JLP, and Dayton Campbell of the PNP are among the number nominated. But we're not sure if it is 4, 5, or 6 nominated in Eastern Westmoreland, because that one is, attracting some attention because of the candidacy of the PNP General Secretary, Dayton Campbell. Yes. And of course, the fact that it is supposed to be a safe traditional PNP seat. It is PJ Patterson's old seat. But Campbell has run into some problems in moving into the seat. Yes. And it is posing a challenge. Yeah. That some people are talking up. We don't know, because it is such a strong PNP seat. I would think that the General Secretary of the party should win it comfortably. But the word on the ground is that it is not comfortable for him. And yesterday, the nomination day was a time when candidates all over the island, attempted to show political strength. And Mr. Danny Lawrence, did show political strength. We have a video here of him and his supporters making their way to the nomination center. And from after 6, 7 yesterday evening, we were being told that they have never seen this from a JLP nominee in Eastern Westmoreland. Just take a look at that. Based on the footage there, that's thousands of JLP clad in green, following Mr. Danny Lawrence to the nomination center yesterday. As I said to Ricardo yesterday, nomination day is for optics, political theater. And what the candidates seek to do is to win the optics game. But come election day, that's where it really matters. Will Danny Lawrence be able to convert this optimistic look into actual votes in the ballot box in Eastern Westmoreland? He's an incumbent. I almost said he's a defending champion. He's the incumbent, but 2020 was an outlier of an election, and he won the seat by 11, 12 votes? And the man he defeated, Luther Buchanan, it was being whispered, would turn up yesterday as an independent nominee. Luther Buchanan, no, he didn't. But Dayton Campbell is in a fight to retake the seat from Danny Lawrence. And it will be interesting to see. Also from the campaign trail yesterday, while being nominated, the Prime Minister was interviewed by journalists who asked him about a recent poll, a Don Anderson poll, suggesting that the opposition leader, Mark Golding, had closed the favorability gap on the Prime Minister.
No, the Don Anderson polls, for what they are worth, have not been very accurate. And I don't rely on them, and I wouldn't advise persons to rely on them either. The truth is, we have commissioned our own polls, and our polls show a scenario that is totally different from what is being painted or portrayed.
According to the Prime Minister, the JLP's own polls show his party in a prime position to win the elections.
We don't disclose our polls for good reasons. One of the things, of course, we don't want any complacency to set in. But we have done a poll of 23 seats, and we have used a very large sample. And so we are confident in what our polls have shown.
A large sample doesn't necessarily mean accuracy, though, Pierre.
Generally, the larger the sample, the more accurate you are.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness responding to a question there from one of the journalists in his West Central St. Andrew constituency. Time for the break. Still on the campaign trail. So the PNP president and opposition leader Mark Golding is promising that the party will not pursue a policy of victimization if it forms the next government. That's a word from Mark Golding this morning. The PNP, if it forms a government, will not pursue a policy of victimization if it forms the next government. And of course, that came on a day when the PNP were under attack, criticism for attempting to have nationwide blacklisted from the upcoming general election debates and the threats that have been coming our way. Well, Mr. Golding says they will not pursue a policy of victimization if they were to form the next government.
We are about making this place better for everybody who lives in Jamaica. We will be a government that governs for all Jamaicans. We're not intending to victimize or discriminate like this current government does rampantly in so many areas of life. No, better governance means we need a nation that the people who are elected to govern for all of the people of the country. And I'm here to tell you that we will do so with decency and with integrity at the heart of everything we do, because we realize that if the people don't have trust and confidence in their leaders, the country can't move forward.
Mark Golding addressing the party of PNP supporters in Northwest St. Andrew following the nomination of their candidate Ethne Miller Simpson. Ethne Miller Simpson. Oh, she has the same name as Portia. Ms. Miller Simpson is up against the JLP's Dwayne Smith in Northwest St. Andrew. According to Mr. Golding, the former MP, Nigel Clark, fled the constituency and the country after seeing the writing on the wall for the JLP.
The northern belt of St. Andrew was traditionally PNP country, and it's only in relatively recent times that the Labour Party has been able to hold their own here. But that era is coming to an end. We see what's happening in Northeast St. Andrew, where Delroy Chuck, really in the twilight of his political years, made the egregious error of deciding to run again. And here in Northwest St. Andrew, where Nigel Clark ran away to the IMF and left this government, knowing what was coming, and he didn't want to be any part of it. And he has left this place to a new MP, somebody who, in the by-election, wouldn't even muster 2,000 votes. So clearly he doesn't have the favor of the people, and it's not surprising based on what I've heard.
Marky G trying to land some political blows there yesterday. Also from the platform yesterday, the GLP is now promising a spark-like project to improve water supply in rural Jamaica if it secures a third term. The Prime Minister, Dr. Andrew Holness, made the announcement at a party meeting in St. Thomas over the weekend.
In the same way that we have launched a program called Spark, where we have allocated over $45 billion for roads, we're going to launch a similar program for rural water supply. We are going to set ourselves the target that within 5 years, every community that is surveyed as feasible will have potable water to their homes.
Access to potable water in all communities is one of the key priorities under the Vision 2030 goals. It covers a 21-year period from 2009 to 2030. Of course, there have been several water improvement projects over the last few years. Still, access to reliable water remains a problem for far too many communities in this country. According to Andrew Holness, his government will now move forward with the Rural Water Program, having ended the National Water Commission's string of annual losses.
The reason why it was not done before is because before this administration, almost every year, the NWC operated at a loss. The NWC became a burden on the government. It is only under this administration that the NWC has operated profitably or at break-even, meaning it has not been a fiscal risk to the government of Jamaica. We have transformed the NWC. We're going to go one step further with the Rural Water Supply Company and the NWC with a special allocation to ensure that all of your communities have a water supply system once your community is deemed feasible.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. Just before we go to the break, going back to the CXC results, yes, a lot of families are happy. Some are not, because the results they were expecting, they didn't get. This time of year can be quite traumatic in families, in households, because you spend years investing in your child, yeah? And one of your goals is to get them leaving high school with their CXC subjects. It is a time when parents, guardians, siblings band together to facilitate those who are writing the exams. Yeah? As families, you make sure they get everything they need for school, to go to the extra classes. Yeah? You worry as a parent. You check up and you help with the SBAs. Yes? And you fret when you hear the exam come and you come home and you ask, how was it? I remember my daughter used to have one word, manageable. I'm going to say, what do you mean by manageable? Manageable, Daddy. Yeah? And you worry. Yeah? You worry as a parent whether or not they have done enough and done well. So I want to pause this morning to say congratulations to all of those students who have done well, who have met the expectations of their families. Yeah, whether it is mommy, daddy, grandma, grandpa. Yeah. And those who, really surprised them. And we have many, many, many. Yeah. One family member asked me, could you please big up Noah for us? Noah Hutchinson. Yeah. He went to Jamaica College and he did his family proud. Yes. So big up yourself, Noah. I hear your father taking you to foreign Europe, yeah, as a reward. Yeah, big up yourself, Noah. Yes, congratulations. All right, and to all the other kids, some of whom will now have to rewrite some of the exams because they didn't get the grade they wanted. Yeah, what I do ask the parents, yeah, don't be too hard. They must know that they didn't meet the expectations. I'm not going to tell you to be, don't let them know that they didn't meet the expectations and they will have to do it again to meet the expectations. Yeah? But don't be too hard. Yeah? The worst thing you want is to let them feel less than able. All right?